Our next guest is a Bitcoin advocate and host of the Bitcoin Meetup in Sydney. Bayani Mills, good morning.
Hi, Tom. How are you going?
Good. So, why is Bitcoin useful? Why are people paying, over 100,000 US dollars to buy one?
At its core, Bitcoin is just money. And I think that's probably a big question to ask in terms of what is money, because for most part, we're used to dealing with currencies day to day. Obviously, with the domestic currency being one up by decree, Bitcoin is a money by rather than decree. So people might choose to use Bitcoin as a store of value. They might choose to use it in a medium exchange. They might choose to use it as a unit account. But that's completely up to them. So really, it comes down to the individual whether or not they see value in it. And collectively, across the world, people do see a value in it to the tune of about $130,000
Well,
Australian today.
sure. Okay, but are many people actually using it to buy things? I remember when it first appeared in there was a famous transaction. I think it was the first Bitcoin transaction. It was one or two Bitcoins for a pizza. Now that's now a very expensive pizza. But do many people use it to buy and sell things?
Well, so yes. So Laszlo Hyacinth was the first recorded commercial transaction at 10,000 Bitcoins for two pizzas.
Oh my,
Very expensive pizzas.
10,000. So those pizzas
Yep,
are now hundreds of millions of dollars.
over $1 billion, yeah, for two pizzas. So that's the opportunity cost by spending Bitcoin today on a long-term horizon. But to your question, yes, people are using Bitcoin. Over the weekend, there was an event called the Bitcoin Bush Bash, where a number of Bitcoiners descended on parks in New South Wales, and these events are held across Australia. There's a cafe, a restaurant there that natively accepts Bitcoin. And yeah, many of us did pay in Bitcoin on the day over the weekend. So
Okay,
for
but,
our,
but is it
yeah.
becoming a bit more like a religion now, where people just have this sort of faith in it? It just is what it is. You've got to be part of it. I'm part of it. Why aren't you part of it? Sort of thing.
No, I think it's more of a matter of as people come to understand what it is, and in the sense that most people don't know how a combustion engine works, but they drive cars. Most people don't even know how the banking system works, yet they use banks every day to transact. Most people don't understand how Bitcoin works, and I don't expect them to. But for those that take the time to perhaps come to a meetup and talk with other Bitcoiners about what Bitcoin is, how it can be used, where is that acceptability? Because the Australian currency is only jurisdictionally accepted, right? Like we don't take the Australian dollar to Zimbabwe and expect them to accept it because the Australian dollar is by decree accepted here in Australia geographically. Bitcoin being a currency by choice means that it's got global acceptability.
Hmm.
But what we're lacking really between that time as a store of value versus a medium exchange is what's called acceptance density. How many people near me are accepting Bitcoin as a medium exchange? And that's increasing over time. For instance, just the other week, Square, obviously a huge company globally, they activated the ability for over 4 million of their brick and mortar merchants over the United States to accept Bitcoin directly at their point of sale. In the
Okay.
first 24 hours, over 2,000 businesses turned that on.
All right. And finally, I mean, is there a ceiling value for Bitcoin, or could it just go up forever?
It's going up forever, Tom.
Right. Okay. Well, that's a very, very bold claim. All right. Thank you. Barney Mills there, Bitcoin advocate. Going up forever. I would argue nothing goes up forever, except taxes.